Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Callum Hawker and thank you for joining us. Lloydminster MLA Colleen Young now has an official cabinet position. Leanne Sanders found out more about her new role and what it will involve.
I'm here talking today with Colleen Young, who has been a longtime MLA in Lloydminster, and she's given us great representation here. And now she's been tapped for a cabinet spot with the Sask Party government. So, Colleen, congratulations, and thanks very much for meeting with me today.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Leanne.
So, how exciting is it to get a cabinet spot after this length of time? And what are your priorities going forward?
Well, it's interesting. You do get tapped by the Premier, and there's a good process to go through, but at the same time, it's an honor and very humbling when you're asked to be a member of Cabinet. And it happened really quick and really fast on our last day of session, as a matter of fact, in the House, and I was asked that afternoon by the Premier if I would be interested in serving as the Minister of Advanced Education. And here I am.
Excellent. Now, he pointed to your long service and experience in the area of education. Can you fill us in a little bit about your background, which some in Lloydminster would be familiar with, but many outside of the area may not be?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I did serve on the public school board here for 20 years as a trustee, 16 of those years as the board chair. And during the time prior to that, and even during that time, I also was a representative on the Saskatchewan Association of School Community Councils as a representative on the University of Saskatchewan Senate. So I've had and attended the University of Saskatchewan myself in the Department of Education. So, and then having all 8 of my children attend the University of Saskatchewan, I've had opportunity to work with some of those people that work at the university and be involved in some of the committees that were there as well. So.
Right. So with Gord Wyant stepping aside as the Advanced Education Minister, as you mentioned, it happened fairly quickly. Is there anything that he left undone that maybe you have to prioritize going forward, or do you get to set your own, agenda going forward?
Well, I must say, Minister Wyatt, I thank him for the role he played, and he has set some things in place, some very good relationships and partnerships with our universities, our polytechnic, and our colleges across the province. So coming into this role, there were some things already in play, and I believe it was very important to continue serving where he was and come in at that same level and work with our colleges and our universities and polytechnic in order to continue to build those relationships, because they've been very good ones, especially in the last few years, working with the province on many of the priorities that we have moving forward.
Are there some specific challenges that you see ahead, or is it fairly smooth sailing in that portfolio?
No, there are some challenges. Right now I am busy attending many of the convocations across this province. It's that time of the year, very busy. I've already done 2 sittings at Polytechnic in Saskatoon. I attended Lakeland College this morning. As I said, it's very important to be there, to recognize the students as they've gone through their dedication in studies, and then now moving out into our workforce. And of course, workforce is what's important to this province. We've built a very strong economy over the last few years coming out of COVID, and I think that's what's going to continue to help this province grow, to have the revenues that provide the services to the people that need it. But working with our universities and all the advanced education institutions, and with industries, because we have a lot of industries that are looking for a workforce as we go forward, and that's going to be one of the main priorities of this portfolio.
So having the portfolio, what happens with your constituency seat?
It's still there, and I am still here to advocate and serve my constituents, because that's one of my first priorities. I am still the MLA here, and that is something that I want to make sure that stays in place. I want people to come when they need help and find ways to serve them as best as I possibly can. So that is still my first priority.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Colleen. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
No, I just think that, you know, in this role, it's going to be very interesting because advanced education also has to work with our new Health Human Resources Action Plan, our trade and export with the economy, the way it's growing as fast as it is. And so part of that, my portfolio is also Innovation Saskatchewan, which works with each of those different areas. Immigration is another one, immigration and career training, because all of these people are going to be our future workforce. And I think that's something that I'm very proud to be a part of, and looking forward to all the work that's ahead of me, but also, you know, we'll take it one step at a time.
Absolutely. Well, and just the sheer amount of information I'm sure you're getting inundated with. You mentioned being handed over some big binders and having to get caught up on some of the things within the ministry.
Absolutely. I mean, there were, as I said, some meetings already in place, and I've already worked my way through some of those, and there's a lot more to come. I have a very busy week next week again, and I'm going from all the way down to Weyburn and Southeast College to Northlands College in La Ronge to attend their convocations as well. So I'm going to be on the road a lot for the next week here or so, but once we get through that, there are some priorities that I know need attending to in advanced ed, and looking forward to those.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks again for your time today, and thanks for coming in to speak with me.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I most certainly do appreciate it.
It's time now for this week's edition of Retrospect with myself. This week in Retrospect, we take it back to June of 1995, where a ceremony of Indigenous tradition tours through Saskatchewan.
This morning's ceremony was one of 72 stops at Native communities throughout Saskatchewan, and when they reach the U.S. border the first part of July, they'll have stopped off at roughly 170 communities in the province. Denny Morrison is a landskeeper and says this morning's ceremony represents a lot of Native tradition.
Lands represents community involvement, gives them back your dignity and pride, hold it up with, gives you honor, let's say, and lots of it has to do with respecting each other, respecting everything we say, do, or even think.
Onion Lake is a long way from Blaine, Minnesota, the site of this year's Indigenous Games. 3 years ago in Prince Albert, only 3 local athletes qualified to participate. It's a different story this time around. Growing interest has seen that number swell to 35.
There's about 35 from here, this district, which is really good because the other years they have only had 3 and it jumped to 30. It is really good. And I think we're taking about 1,000 athletes across right to Blaine, Minnesota.
It means a lot, actually. It means to do, keeps me in school, motivates me to be a role model for everybody else. And I think it's good for people here to see some of their people, their children, and not going to the games.
I went there and there was like 50 people trying for soccer, and so I was eligible to make it on the team Saskatchewan, and it's quite an honor to go there and representing Onion Lake.
And in 1999, we look at safety tips from local skateboarders who are taking advantage of the nice weather and doing extreme sports in a safe way.
Kirk Matthews is a regular roller at the skateboard park in Bud Miller, but the grade 4 student always picks up the helmet before grabbing the board. It's already saved him a headache.
About 10 times, coming out from the ramps, I've lost my balance. I think you should wear a helmet, because, you might get seriously injured, brain damage or something.
But not everyone seems to be grabbing the gear.
I don't really think they usually wear them because they try to be a bit cool like other kids, and they don't really wear them at all.
Want to avoid injury? It's just simple. Wear the right gear.
Dean Hoff with the Lloydminster Health District says over 30,000 skateboard and rollerblade injuries fill Alberta hospitals every year. Most of them are due to kids not sporting a helmet.
What you want to look for is make sure they're CSA approved, and also you want to make sure that there's no cracks anywhere on this helmet. They're only made to use in one accident. If you hit this hard, they're meant to be thrown away. Go buy yourself a new one because it's going to save your head in the long run. Other things that you need to wear is proper size gear. That's where a lot of people get in trouble. They're either not wearing the gear, or they're wearing their big brother's gear or their mom or dad's gear, and it's really not meant for them. You want to prevent an injury, wear the stuff that fits you properly.
Sales have really taken off. We've been going through helmets like crazy. And who lost helmets?
Garth Syard, co-manager for High Gear in Lloydminster, says since the opening of the skateboard park, sales of helmets have soared. As of Wednesday, they had none left in stock. He says when kids make a purchase, they look for style and safety.
They're looking for the styles that they see in the magazines and they see in the videos. And they're also, they want to live to skate another day kind of a thing. So if you're laid up with a broken ankle in the hospital, it kind of ruins the rest of your summer.
Hoff hopes kids enjoy the new facility, but do so in a responsible fashion.
Start on the smaller equipment, work your way up to the bigger equipment, and take your time doing it. You don't see the guys on the X Games without their equipment, and you shouldn't be without it either.
That's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consort.
We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
The CEO of Synergy Credit Union has announced his retirement. Stacey Comer spoke with him about his long career and plans for the future.
It's a pleasure to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Glenn Stang, who is the CEO with Synergy Credit Union for now. Glenn, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Stacey.
Well, we are here to talk about the fact that you've decided to call it quits and retire. First of all, congratulations. You've had such a long-standing career with credit unions in Saskatchewan. This must be just, I guess, kind of exciting, but kind of a little bit maybe not so exciting for you. How do you feel?
Yeah, at times it feels so surreal, right? It's hard to believe. You always, when you start work, you always think, what's my retirement going to look like, and when is that day going to happen? And sometimes it's so far down the road, and all of a sudden, bang, it's here. It's your current reality. You're trying to think, okay, now what, right? But it's been lots of fun.
Well, let's go over your history with credit unions. So you've been the CEO with Synergy since 2013. You've been with Synergy for 27 years and in the credit union system for around 43 years. Glenn, that is quite an accomplishment. Can you tell me about some of the highlights during that time?
Oh man, where do I begin, right? So I started my career actually as a summer job. And, some of the general managers that I worked for seen something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time and encouraged me to participate in management trainee programs and things like that. And what I quickly learned working for the credit union system is that their values really resonated well with my values. And for that reason, I just stuck around. I never really felt the need to go and look elsewhere for work. And likely the things that really catapulted my career is one of my general managers suggested I get involved in training lenders. For about 5 years, I traveled the province of Saskatchewan teaching lending, intro to credit granting, agriculture and commercial lending. And then shortly after that, we entered in Saskatchewan. We had an agricultural crisis in the late 80s, early 90s. And I participated in a regulatory audit regime. And we traveled the province again, looking and assessing the strength of credit unions. Those two events really introduced me to almost everybody in the province of Saskatchewan, right? It really catapulted my career. And shortly after that, I applied for the job here in Lloydminster. the inaugural Lloydminster branch manager position, if you can believe it or not. Up until then, the branch was managed off the end of the desk of the CFO. So I was the very first branch manager here in town, and it really just set the tone for the change that the organization really wanted to go through.
If we narrow it down, Glenn, to just your time as the CEO, what is one or maybe two of the things that would stand out to you as highlights during just that time?
Well, there's several. First of all, finishing our new building on 42nd Street, right? So that project was in progress when I was appointed as CEO. So I had to finish that. So that's one. Second one is actually, believe it or not, is navigating through all of the turmoil, the change of the pandemic. That's 2, 3 years. Everybody would I'm sure everybody looks at their career during that time and says, wow, right? How do we make it through? And just the challenges that come with that. And along the way, there were some regulatory changes as well that changed our capital position, and our CFO at the time, Jason Bazinet, and our team put together a really strong, aggressive plan to improve our capital position. And today, as I exit the CEO position at Synergy, we actually have one of the strongest capital positions in Canada.
Well, now the work begins to fill your shoes, Glenn, and I don't know if you're going to have a hand in that, but what do you say to the person who moves into your role and has to become the new Glenn Stang?
Rely on your people. I'm so fortunate and honored to work with great people every day. The current executive team, Christine, Brent, Harmalik, and Trevor, just great people, great visionaries in their own. I remember going to a conference once in Vancouver. Obama was speaking, and one of the things that he said that day was, surround yourself by great people, listen to what they say, and make their words yours. And I think that's kind of one of the tricks I've played without really knowing it in the past is, again, I've had some great people, and I never kind of got in their way. I let them do their thing, and just made sure that it met the needs of our membership and the needs of the credit union, and allowed them to do their thing. And that's really what's resonated well for Synergy. We have great culture. We have great people. If you leave them alone and let them do their thing, they'll accomplish great results for you.
So what's next for you, Glenn? Have you made any official plans, or are you just going to enjoy things for a while once the role is officially done for you?
Oh, I'm sure something will come along for me, because they always do, right? It was just a really good time for me to step down now and allow the credit union to bring in a new leader. There's lots of headwinds of change, and when you go through change, you need that continuity of leadership. And I just didn't have 3 to 7 years, to give to the organization anymore. But what's next? Well, I got 8 grandkids. They're all going to be busy entering sports. Jeannie and I want an RV, travel North America. So that'll be on my bucket list. And I really hope that I can continue to coach and mentor small business people like I have for the last few years.
Well, Glenn, congratulations on a very long and successful career. I know you'll be missed at Synergy, and we wish you all the best in whatever you do, even if it's just relaxing. But I know that we'll see you around Lloydminster, whether it be at an arena somewhere or in the mall, just get a chance to run in and say, hey, but enjoy your retirement. We've really enjoyed speaking with you over these past few years.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey. This is home, so I'm not going nowhere, and you will see me around volunteering someplace for sure.
The Lloydminster and Area Brain Injury Society is holding their annual charity golf tournament this week. Abby St. John has more.
I'm very happy to be joined here today by Shanae Brothwell with LABIS, the Lloydminster and Area Brain Injury Society. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, this is an exciting topic. You guys have a charity golf tournament coming up on June 6th, this Thursday. Tell me a little bit about this golf tournament. I believe this is your first year on the golf tournament. So tell me a little bit about it and what people can expect.
Yeah, so it starts this Thursday, June 6th. We're playing Texas Scramble. And our registration starts at 1 o'clock, and then our shotgun start will be at 2 o'clock. Tickets are $150 per person. You can register individually if you want, and we'll just place you on a team. But if you have a team of 4 people that you would like to register together, then that's even better. Your tickets will come with a barbecue steak supper, which will be really yummy. We have a silent auction, 50/50, lots of prizes and giveaways.
It sounds like a very jam-packed event. Lots of fun things, not
Yes.
just golf, but a bunch of other fun little activities and, of course, the
Yes.
dinner. It sounds amazing. Now, this is a charity event for Labus. So can you tell me a little bit about what these proceeds will be going towards and kind of if you have a goal for this year?
Yeah, so Labus, we're a nonprofit organization. And so all the proceeds that we get go directly into brain injured individuals and their families and helping keep our programming free for them. Our program is more in the social aspect, making sure that they have a place to come to with like people. So that's what we strive to give them. And then it also pays for other things for them that they need as well.
Yes, that sounds awesome. And this seems like it's one of your bigger charity events. And
Yes.
so it sounds like it's going to be a very fun event and hopefully the weather is cooperative. I know it's been kind of iffy on and off, so
Yeah.
hopefully fingers crossed that the weather holds out for you guys.
Yes.
Now, if anybody would like more information or if they'd like to get involved to help out or even to
Mhm.
register a team or themselves, how
Yep.
can they do so? And or is it just on the day that they can register?
Yeah, you can if you want to just come on that day and register at Rolling Greens, you absolutely can. You can call us at 306-825-7212. You can email us at labus@sasktel.net, or you can just stop in to our offices as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you the best of luck for this tournament. I'm sure it's going to be a very awesome event, and I'm sure people are going to love it and enjoy it. So I wish you the
Thank you
best
so
of luck.
much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
The 4-H Expo is one of the biggest 4-H events in Canada and features beef, sheep, and equine projects, as well as many other activities at the Lloyd X. Today was the final day of the event, and the organizers say it has been a fantastic weekend.
So far, it's been going great. We got a fantastic staff here at the Lloyd X and the committee that we have here as well. Really been pounding it through. Yesterday was a really busy day, having bench show, the multi projects, the sheep show, the female show, and the gymkhana outside with the horses. Every aspect was in full swing yesterday, and it was fantastic.
The 4-H Expo has 14 clubs from Lloydminster and area competing in the various disciplines and is the final event for this year's project.
They've been working real hard, all the members and everything, and it's great to see the community, the greater Lloydminster area, both in the Alberta side and the Saskatchewan side, come here and exhibit with all these young members and everything and their hard work that they've done for the entire year. So it's very exciting.
Now let's look at your agriculture prices.